People are like, what the? Good evening, everyone. This is Mike Lapinto for the third time, the co-artistic director of Festival South. We had a little trouble getting started there, but we're glad you're with us this evening. Tonight, we have music from the Baroque, a special organ performance, and even Disney from the Alias Brass. We'll be joined tonight by my friends TJ Tesh, and right now with us is my dear friend Ron Hancock. Ron, good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Ron is the works here with Belltone, and I'll let him tell you more about that. But also, I've known Ron since, what was it, the Paleozoic era, I believe. But also through Partners for the Arts and many events. We've worked together. We were in the marching band together. We worked with Jay Dean with the symphony together many moons ago. And right now, he is the chair of, is that the correct title? Chair of Partners for the Arts?
Mm-hmm. I'm a piece of furniture.
Yes, you are the chair, as opposed to the window or door. So, Ron, tell us a little bit about yourself for people who may not know you.
Sure. As you already mentioned, I am a licensed hearing aid specialist. My family and I own and operate the local Belltone hearing care centers. And that's going to be in Hattiesburg, Laurel, Gulfport, and Biloxi. I did graduate from USM with a degree in music, as you said, a long time ago. I actively write, arrange, and perform music whenever I can steal away time to do so. And I am currently the chair of Partners for the Arts.
So what has quarantine life been like for you?
Well, my quarantine experience has probably not been like what it has for some of my friends. I'm a healthcare worker primarily, so I serve patients that are over the age of 60. That's arguably the most vulnerable segment of our society. I have over 3,000 active patients for whom I feel responsible for, and I haven't exactly been able to close up shop and stay at home, so I've actually been at work the whole time. Over the last 4 months now, I've got a lot of new patients that have come in and said, you know, I'm cut off from my family, I can't hear them on the phone, I can't see them in person, and I need help. I can't even understand the TV, I can't understand the news, I don't know what's going on. So I've had a lot of those cases come up, and do the best I can to help them be able to communicate with the people that are checking in on them and helping them feel not so even more isolated because they can't hear what's going on. So I've been, instead of working doctor's hours, I've been working more like 10 or 12-hour days and 6 or 7 days a week. So in short, it's been really busy during this quarantine for me.
Well, I feel like that's something we don't think about a whole lot is, and you said something I saw in one of your Facebook posts recently about wearing a mask and the problem of like people with hearing aids. I know my dad does that and wear a mask, and the mask pulls the hearing aid off. So you've had lost hearing aids and damaged hearing aids from those kinds of things. Just things, you know, you just, before all of this, when you just never thought about those kind of things.
Yeah, and even if you don't have a hearing loss, when your lips are covered, you can't read people's lips. Everyone reads lips. Lip reading is just something that's, you know, we can, if you have vision, you can read lips. And if you can't see anyone's lips, it's harder to understand everyone. So imagine if you have a hearing loss on top of that. So the clear mask, I can't wait for those to come out when you can see lips again.
Right. I did a lot of work as a, when I was younger with the hearing impaired community, especially the deaf community, and reading lips is the bulk of that many times. And so, it's just a whole different world. So what are some of the things that you miss the most? You were so involved with so many things, as much as you could with your busy schedule. What do you miss the most? What are you looking forward to when hopefully at some point in time we get past this pandemic thing at some way, somehow?
I miss cooking for my friends and having my friends over to eat. I've been doing and making jellies and preserves, and everything goes to waste in the garden. And I look forward to sharing that food and those preservatives and the things that I've done, preserves rather, the things that I've done, making meals with that later on. So I'm looking forward to sharing meals again. And I know my friends are kind of looking forward to eating again with me. But I also miss going to live performances, a concert, the feeling and the energy of being in the room with live musicians and performers. I actually crave that right now, probably more than anything.
Yeah, it's so amazing when I am out. Like, I told somebody that I'm going to different grocery stores, so I keep getting different experiences all the time. But it's so nuts to think. I'm excited just if I happen to see somebody and you make you do the whole, hey, how are you? You know, and your eyes get really big because you're just not around people. Ron, if you'll hang on just a minute, we'll be right back right after this.
And people stayed home and read books and listened and they rested and did exercises and made art and played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened more deeply. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead and made new choices and dreamed of new visions and created new ways of living and completely healed the earth, just as they were healed.
Ron Hancock, my dear friend for many, many, many years, and he's currently the chair of Partners for the Arts and runs and operates the Belltone here locally for hearing aids and hearing type issues and all. Ron, we were talking before we left about things you would miss and all. Tell us a little bit. You're so involved with the arts, and just as you as a performer, which we're going to hear in just a minute, a special piece from you. And I wonder if sometimes if your patients always know that, you know that you've done this, and I know so many things. I mean, I met you as a tuba player who then became a bass clarinet player, and we sweat out many concerts under our director back then, and then in color guard world, and so many things that we did through that. But you're so engaged with the arts, and even in your house, all the art that you've been showing has been really, really neat to see all the things that you've been putting up. Tell us about why the arts are so important, especially as we look towards recovery here in general, but also as we look towards recovery.
Yeah, I guess you described me as a sort of Renaissance man, as it were, right? That's how you said it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a huge importance of Festival South and the arts community here in Hattiesburg. As chair of Partners for the Arts, we share a lot of the same goals as Festival South does, and I should probably back up and explain what Partners is for those who don't know. But we fundraise and we fund the arts in the Hattiesburg community and surrounding area. Partners for the Arts is going into our 23rd year, I believe now, and we're kind of an alliance between the community and the arts programs at Southern Miss. So we underwrite arts projects, concerts, music, theater, dance, visual art shows, even Festival South, to the tune of about $35,000 annually. So, since our inception, we've raised about $1.7 million, and that's all from members and their donations. So obviously, I think the arts are a valued necessity. I think they are woven into the cultural fabric of our being. I mean, if you're from Hattiesburg, you're just immersed in the arts. And that's kind of what it's like to be a Hattiesburgian or Hattiesburger, whichever camp you're in for that title. At
Well,
our
I'll
most
tell you,
base,
it's officially Hattiesburger now. It had because I was part of this conclave thing that they did a while
mm-hmm,
ago, which was I had no idea what we were going into, and we had all sorts of discussions and all about that we are going to be officially Hattiesburgers now.
Hattiesburgers. Yeah.
With
Well,
I like mine with extra onion, please. So
yeah, I was gonna say, as a vegetarian, I haven't swallowed that one yet. So
puns, the puns.
I was gonna say about the art show at basic level. As a performer, we want to perform. We want to perform to an audience, and as an audience member, everyone here would be that group. As someone who is watching right now, we want to experience really good live performances, and I'm looking forward to doing that again when the day is right, when the time is right.
Absolutely. Ron, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And now you're in for a treat. This is a performance Ron created for us, that he recorded for us, and he tells you a little bit and explains what it is in the performance. Thank you for being here tonight, Ron. And hang on, we're going to listen to that right now.
Hi, my name is Ron Hancock, and I specialize in medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque music. Normally, I would be playing with the real harpsichordist, my playing partner, Pamela Fuller, and we look forward to sharing our program, a delightful program of early music, with you next summer as part of Festival South 2021. As performing artists and musicians in particular, that's what we do, perform. And we can't wait to get back on stage in front of you. We hope that we have a full audience because a performance falls on deaf ears if there's no one to enjoy it. So we're hoping to be in front of you and have that relationship again when the time is right. And we look forward to seeing you at all the Festival South events as Festival South continues to evolve.
I'm Kelsey Wishick. I'm a Mississippi native from the Gulf Coast. Well, I was excited to be asked to participate in Festival South, and of course the first thing that I was thinking about with how to connect with the concept was my experience with Hattiesburg. I've spent a lot of time on the Leaf River in the woods playing music myself, and I always kind of have this like myth that I tell myself about this man in the river who's perpetually playing music for all of time. And I've done several paintings and drawings of this river myth man, and kind of showed up again in this work. I thought it would be interesting to give him a kind of unique instrument. So he's playing the banjo-lele, a little small banjo-ukulele mix. And I kind of worked with the idea of the appearance of kinky boots in the festival to just give him these vibrant boots to ground him into the river. So he's very much a part of nature and participating in the landscape. And that's kind of how I spent my time here in Hattiesburg, always outside, enjoying the beauty that is offered here. So the color in this painting, it actually came in response to an actual sunrise that I experienced as I was starting to conceive this idea. I was really struck by this kind of lemon yellow that happened one morning. I don't think I've ever seen that color before in real life until that day. And it became this kind of surreal experience that I was having, and that I wanted maybe the viewer to be able to touch into. So it's just this really vibrant springtime, early springtime colors, and kind of just pushing that surreal moment of being integrated with everything. So like there's this swooping, like he's kind of swooping into the trees are becoming into the atmosphere, so everything is connected in a way. And I wanted to play with that with the colors too. So even his jeans, his shirt, it becomes kind of atmospheric, or like the river, like the landscape. So trying to push that connection. I'm always thinking about the nature of water and the fluidity of water and the contrasting nature of the different elements. But I feel always quite drawn to water and that kind of ability for it to reflect our stories and our moments. And I always think of water when I'm in Hattiesburg for some reason because of the rivers. When I think of creativity in relationship to the pandemic, my experience has been to, take an initial pause and assess what is most important to me as a creator, not to just create compulsively. So it's been actually a really beautiful time to step back and reintegrate into the vision process of creativity. So obviously sometimes it just comes and it flows, and other times it really starts with how I feel like creativity starts with how we see life and how an artist sees life. So I've been really cultivating that direct contact with the places that I'm in, the kind of empathy that I feel for the situation, and allowing it to slow down a little bit. So, yeah, I always think of creativity as a kind of technology of what we can create with what we have. So in that way, I also think this time has really brought us back to what is essential. It's not always about maybe the product or the object or the show, but also that kind of fulfillment and relationship with the medium directly. We're kind of coming from this time, the past few years have been really hard with all the challenges we're facing with minorities, Me Too movement, just everything's kind of come up in the past few years. And I feel like it's been a kind of time of lamenting. And I hope that on the other side of this, that we can come to really celebrate the sacredness of diversity in life and spread more color and light through our art.
Go to Help Festival South, as we talked about there. Please visit festivalsouth.org for your chance to own that beautiful painting. It really is stunning, and though I would love to keep it here in my house. I would rather somebody else have it, and we may show it to you soon, live and in person on the stream one night. We are thrilled to have tonight the trumpet professor from Southern Miss and a friend of mine, TJ Tesh, joining us. Hey, TJ.
Good to see you, Mike.
You as well. Thank you for being with us tonight. TJ is here because he brought to our attention a group called the Alias Brass. TJ, tell us a little bit about the Alias Brass.
Yeah, Alias Brass Company is a brass quintet, 2 trumpets, trombone, French horn, and tuba. And I've been with that group for about a year and a half or so now, off and on. And I believe the group's roughly in its 7th year or so, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a fantastic group. It's made up of college professors from throughout the country. So myself at Southern Miss, the other trumpet player, Jonathan Bhatia, is at the University of Nevada, Reno. His fiance, who is our horn player, Natalie Higgins, is also at Nevada, Reno. The trombone professor, trombone player Timothy Dupin, is trombone professor at Lamar University, and Clayton Maddox, our tubist, was at Arkansas Tech University and is now on a fellowship doing his doctorate at LSU. Just a tremendous group. We get together for a weekend of rehearsals here and there, and then when we get a series of concerts, we'll get together for a few days beforehand on the road, and then it's off to business.
So TJ, we talked a little bit off camera, and something that's been sort of a running commentary with this, but people may not understand, is that they're seeing, unfortunately, a lot of people think the pandemic's over, and that's a little bit scary because it's the numbers are just not looking good, but we're not seeing it in our face every day in light of everything that's going on in the world. It's, that's a whole nother episode for another time. But they don't understand, like, a working musician, if that's your only job, like you work at the university, I work at the university, that's our full-time gig.
Sure.
If you're only a symphony player, only a musician making money gigging some other way, tell people a little bit about what that's like, because you have experience doing that as well.
Sure. It's, fortunately for me, like you say, I've got a full-time job at the university, so I was able to maintain my salary and maintain teaching through that. But I moved to Mississippi from Los Angeles. I spent about 13 years in LA, where I was a full-time musician, particularly by the end of my stay there. And I've got a lot of friends in that boat, people that are studio musicians and who rely on playing gigs or multiple gigs every single day in order to pay their bills. And in the blink of an eye, everything vanished. It's really kind of hard to describe, other than to say that even in my case, I don't have anything on my calendar at all.
Same.
That is a very strange reality. I don't have anything coming up that I could count on as being there. And for those folks that are full time in that industry, in the performance business, it just meant a total shutdown. It meant a complete reevaluation of everything, how to keep yourself fed and keep the rent paid and all that sort of stuff until we return. And I think one of the really challenging parts, like you mentioned, is there's an odd sense that this is kind of over and that we're heading for the coast being clear. But in the live performance business, we have to have audiences, and I don't see audiences being willing to pack into halls and whatnot to see performances and into clubs and things. It just seems a bit precarious going forward. We'll have to see what happens.
I know, it's all so crazy. I was writing an article the other day for the alumni magazine, and our chair of the School of Performing and Visual Arts, Stacy Reichman Fletcher, and Jay Dean from the School of Music sort of sent me their comments, and we were putting them together. And one of the questions we posed right at the beginning is, what is dance without touch? What is a lesson or musical theater without interaction with those? How do you do a costume fitting? How do you do makeup or masks or any of those things that we do in that world? And we can't be within 6 feet of each other. And it's for the health and safety of everybody, not even just the students trying to put it together and perform, but the audience as well. So Godspeed to things getting ready. I would be remiss if I didn't say you must say hello to your mom, who is commenting heartily on Facebook, which you should also do too. So say hi, Mom.
That's what she's doing. Hi, Mom.
By the way, my mom's watching too. I don't think she wants to comment because she's scared she'll lose the whole full screen version of this, but they're watching on the iPad. So we really appreciate those who are watching and commenting. We're keeping up with those things. And looking, and every so often you'll see something drop onto the screen, particularly during performances. So what are you looking forward to the most? What's coming up for you, other than the video we're going to show them in just a minute, which is really awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Well, I mean, this whole thing has been interesting for me. I've got 2 young kids, so this has provided me quite an opportunity to be home with them and to enjoy some time with them that I just would not have gotten otherwise, and probably won't again unless something like this comes up. And it also gave me a chance to sort of refocus my own artistic interests and to sort of rediscover an interest in playing the trumpet. So what's become exciting for me, especially given that I don't plan on any live events anytime soon, I'm kind of planning for the worst, to be honest. But in my instance, I've decided to embark on some recording adventures, trying to work on some multi-track overdubbing of trumpet ensemble pieces, that sort of thing. Learning some software, learning my way around that technology. And so if there's anything I'm looking forward to right now, it's learning how to further harness this technology going forward in my own creative output. I mean, there's something pretty incredible about putting an entire project together from the comfort of your own bedroom. That's pretty special. So.
And I will tell you that even as the School of Music and all of the arts at Southern Miss, that's something we're looking towards. We actually have some meetings Friday with tech companies coming in to hopefully be able, if we can get performances going, to be able to stream them to our public and see that. And I will tell you, in the same way, all of the technology that we're using here tonight was foreign to me a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I am very lucky to have some folks that we've sort of been our quarantine little quartet that we had going on here, because we were all sort of on our own and staying by ourselves. And so I've been lucky to have those folks around. But Travis and Brett are here running things in the background, or it would be very much a different video of the top of my head moving buttons and pushing things. But definitely technology, I think, is going to be part of our future in a good way and unfortunately at the same time. So it's an interesting road we have ahead, and I'm glad that at least we're able to share the music and share some times. It's really good to see you, and I appreciate you being here tonight. We're going to now hear from the Alias Brass and see what they've sent us, and we'll be right back.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks, TJ.
Hello, everybody. We're the Alias Brass Company, and we hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this very difficult time.
We may not be able to be with you in person this year at Festival South. However, we are pleased to bring you this virtual performance.
We will have a great show for you next summer on June 8th, 2021. One that demonstrates the resolve and purpose that music gives us all.
We look forward to meeting old friends and making new ones, because what we need now most of all is the spirit of friendship.
From all of us at the Alias Brass Company, we hope this music gives you renewed strength and lifts your spirits. We look forward to seeing you next year at Festival South.
and people stayed home and read books and listened and they rested and did exercises and made art and played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened more deeply. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead and made new choices and dreamed of new visions and created new ways of living and completely healed the earth, just as they were healed.
I'd like to thank Ron Hancock, Kay Giles, TJ Tesh, and the Alias Brass for being with us tonight. Thank to you for all of you watching right now live. I'd also like to thank all of our FestivalSouth staff and all of Hattiesburg Concert Association who've made this event possible and all the things we do at FestivalSouth possible. We really need your support at these times. As TJ was talking, we're not sure when the next gig will be, and for many of our folks, that's just a really daunting proposition. And we know that it's been a hard time for a lot of folks out there, and we don't mean to make anything lightly. We're trying to give you a bright spot to enjoy in our broadcast. But if you have a moment, please visit FestivalSouth.org, click on the red button, and donate in any way you can. No gift is too small. Thursday is a big old show. Thursday at 7:30, you'll get to hear some Nat King Cole from David Walker. We will chat with Rebecca Johnson from the Arts Council, and Millie Swan from Forest General, and Randy Swan from Fox 23, along with music from the incomparable Barry Leach. You do not want to miss Thursday night at 7:30. If for any reason you're not able to be with us, this post will be alive shortly after we go off the air on YouTube, and it's also here on Facebook. After a little bit, it'll post again, so you can watch it anytime there. But until the next time, as I've been saying, please really listen to someone, truly learn from them, and love everyone. Good night.